folks. Listen, this is a live stream, and if you're new to the channel, you have to go to the live section of this channel because that's where all my recent videos are. Okay, so make sure you go to the live section of this channel and watch from the most recent and work your way back to fully grasp what I'm showing on this channel. You will have to watch more than 10 videos because it is this is biblical what I'm showing. Okay, it's the biblical beast out of the sea event that's going to happen on June 11th in Washington State. Okay, Elvis is the beast out of the sea. He's the kraken, he's the sea goat, he's the phoenix rising. Okay, Elvis is the biblical beast out of the sea. And one of the heads of the beast that out of the sea seems to have had a head wound, a deadly head wound, and it healed, and the world wondered after the beast. That event is the August 4th event where Trump is going to get his head wound, most likely in Ohio, but on August 4th. Okay? So my two predictions are June 11th, Washington State. There's going to be a part of Washington State that's going to be destroyed. You got to get out of Washington State because I don't know how much collateral damage is going to be. That's why you need to get out of Washington State before June 11th. And then August 4th, Trump gets his head wound. And he survives that deadly head wound and opens his eyes on August 8th, 4 days later, after August 4th, when he gets his head wound. Now, like I said, this is biblical. And today, there was a few events that happened today. Okay? Besides the fact, like I just told you guys, that I predicted Seattle would go to the Super Bowl. Okay? And from way back in before the season started, I predicted it. And the reason I said that for sure they'd go to the Super Bowl is because they were playing at Levi Stadium, the Super Bowl. Okay? And this is the first time they've been playing at Levi Stadium since my predictions started. Okay? So you think that's a coincidence? You're nuts. Okay? Now, this Seattle team, they had a parade today, a victory parade. And we're also waiting to see when they go and visit the White House because, like I told you guys over the years over the last few weeks and months that Obama he had Seattle when they won the '48 Super Bowl, okay, and and had him at the White House, and now Trump is going to do the same probably. So that's another thing we're looking for. See when they go to the White House, okay, what date? Now, but today they had a victory parade in Washington State, okay, for the Seattle Seahawks who won the Super Bowl, like I said, which I predicted would happen because they were playing at Levi Stadium. Levi's is the anagram for Elvis, okay? Now, what about today's date? What's going on? So today, like I said, they had the victory parade. First, let me show you that they let's see. I don't understand. People were saying that they were wearing shirts or why is Seattle people wearing shirts called Cut for This?
Seattle people often wear shirts called Cuts because the brand, Cuts Clothing, offers modern, versatile apparel. These shirts are designed for a polished work leisure style.
Get out of here, stupid.
Professionals who need comfortable and stylish clothing.
That's not what I was trying to get. They're wearing shirts that say Cut for This because I told you they might chop a piece of Washington State off the map, okay? And if you know what piece I'm talking about, it's Elvis's head, okay? It's Elvis's head is Washington's, the furthest part of Washington State, okay? The furthest west. Now, forget about that. That's worthless. Whatever that was. But I asked that earlier. They said some reason. Now I can't remember what it was. They were saying that they were cut from a different cloth or something. You know, it's complete mockery. But anyway, today's date is important. Why is today's date so important? Okay, why having their victory parade today was so important. But I'm going to be talking about a death ritual that happened today for this puzzle. Okay, look. So today's date is 2/11, which is the 42nd day of the year. And you know, Trump is the 47th president, and the 47th prime is 2/11, right? So, so we're talking about 2/11, the date today when they had the victory parade in Seattle, 42nd day of the year, right? And the 47th prime is 2/11, which connects to the date 2/11. See, and 42/47 we're talking about. And why is that important? Because look, because because from Elvis's birthday to 6/11 is 155 days when you add that day, and the percentage for 155 days is 42.47%. Okay, and also why today's date, the parade happening on the 42nd day of the year, is because Washington State is the 42nd day of the year. I mean, 42nd state, man. I'm like off my game right now because I'm not feeling well, folks. I've been sick for like 2 days now. Washington State, it's the 42nd state, and Elvis died at the age of 42. And George Washington's original birthday was 2/11. They changed it to 2/22. The his new birthday, but it's 42nd day of the year. See, 42s, all the 42s, right? Now, what else happened today? Let me just real quick watch this. Who shut down the El Paso airport today? Look at this. Oh man, I didn't mean to hit that. Hold on. So look at this, scratching their heads and all this other stuff they're saying. How the FAA, now watch. Where is it? See the FAA? Look. Why did the FAA shut down and reopen El Paso Airport? They said they were going to shut it down for 10 days. Then all of a sudden they reopened it, okay? They said something about a cartel drone in the news. I don't know what the hell they're talking about. But El Paso, first of all, FAA equals 611, the letters. F is 6, A is 1, A is 1, okay? Okay, and that's happening today. It was today in the news, okay? It might have happened from even last night, but it was today that we heard about this, okay? And watch. So FAA, El Paso is the same initials as Elvis Presley. You understand? The EL, Elvis Presley. Okay? And did you know there was a shooting in El Paso, Texas, one day before August 4th, because Trump's going to get his head one on August 4th. And it was on 8/3. It was on 8/3, which was 6 years, 6 months, 8 or 9 days. Okay. And that was from the El Paso shooting. And the very next day, they had another shooting in Ohio. And I told you Trump's going to get his head wound in Ohio. Every year, they have predictive programming on the dates that I'm telling you, June 11th and August 4th, every year. And on August 4th, back in 2019, they had an Ohio shooting. It was all over the news. It was a mass shooting. And the day before, they had the El Paso shooting. Okay, because I told you, it's all about Elvis and Trump, because they're the devil twins, basically. But Elvis is the real Antichrist. Trump is the image of the Antichrist in the flesh. Anyway, so from that day, it was 6 years, 6 months, 6 days, or 7 days, And I've explained what the 66 and 67 is all about, okay? Now, notice the El Paso one was on 8/3, the shooting, okay? And why am I bringing El Paso? Because of the FAA thing, right? The shutdown of the FAA. And remember, the El Paso shooting happened on 8/3. Okay, but look, you know who died today? This James Vanderbeek. Let's look at this real quick. Let me show you. When did James Vanderbeek die?
James Vanderbeek died on February 11th, 2026.
So he died today, this dude. Look at that. The time is about to be 6:11. Look at that. You see that? Anyway, so he died today, right? James Vanderbeek. Now, notice that it's the same numbers. You see it? 3883. He was born on 38, okay? And let me show you how this guy is connected. Okay, big time. Give me a second here to get my paperwork in order. Give me a second. Watch this. Because everything I told you is about EL, Elvis. Okay? And watch. From the day James Vanderbeek, his birth date. Okay? Watch how important this is. So from the day he was born. Okay, I'll get into all the connections. Just bear with me, okay? You're going to love this video once it keeps going. So his birth date, that's his birth date. He died on this date. You see this number? This was the amount of days. 17,873 days. I forgot to put the word days right there. 17,873 days. Okay? And notice these numbers and what that is right there. See, the 7 and the 3, it looks like the letters E and L when you turn them sideways. So you have the EL, which means God in Hebrew, but means the in Spanish. Okay? But it's the EL in Hebrew what's important. Okay? Hold on, I gotta sneeze. Man, I just lost it. Man, it's like I live in in the middle of the street. All that noise. Anyway, look at that. So 178 equals the word EL. Okay? EL equals 17 and the reduced number is 8. Reduced means 1 plus 7 is 8. Okay, so EL equals 17 and 8. See that? 17 and 8, and the 7 and the 3 is the EL. Do you get it? All right. Watch. You'll see it gets better. Just relax. Notice I said EL means God in Hebrew. Elvis has the EL. 7-3 or 3-7 is the EL. Okay. It looks like the letters EL, the numbers 7-3 and 3-7, and that's why you have, what I showed you here, because EL equals 17-8. It has 17-8 and 7-3, which is the EL letters, the 7 and 3. Okay, it's perfect. And now, notice the E equals 5, L equals 12. Where did this guy die? He died in Austin, Texas. Look at the area code. The first area code in Austin, Texas is 512. The second one is 7337. Are you kidding me? Look what I'm showing you. EL is 73 or 37, and E is 5, L is 12. 512 and 7337. Get it? And he died on the EL. The amount of days, 17,873 is 17.8 is EL. 7. Did anyone understand what I just showed before I move on? Did anyone just notice what I just showed? I got to make sure you understood that before I move on. Did anyone not understand that? Because it's so important that you understand that, okay? And you'll see how it all connects to Elvis in a minute. I just want to make sure you understood that. Okay, let's keep going. Oh, James Vanderbeek is an actor. He's known for the show Dawson's Creek and some movies he's made. So he is a well known actor in America. Maybe not across the earth, but he's well known. Trust me. All right. Sorry about that. I should have told you he was an actor. I forgot. See, I told you I'm doing this on this. Within a couple hours. It just died today. James Vanderbeek. His birthday is 3/8. If you went from the first of the year to 3/8, it's 67 days. If you don't add the day, 68. I'm sorry. It's actually 66 days. You know what? Let me. I know it's a correct. Let me just tell you what Google says. No, let me just show it to you. The reason I'm going to show it to you is because it's important that I think it's 67 days and then 68 on leap year, but let me just check real quick. I could be wrong. It's very important that I get this correct here. Yeah, okay. Now, let me just add one thing here. Why it's so important, this one. Why this date is so important. All right. So let me just tell you this. Elvis was an identical twin, okay? And the word twin equals 66. Just remember that, okay? So now, from the first of the year to Vanderbeek's birthday, the guy who died today on February 11th, but this is to his birthday from the first of the year. It's 66 days if you don't add the day, 67 days if you add the day, and 68 on a leap year. Now, why am I showing you this? Because Elvis had an identical twin that died at birth, so Elvis is a twin. Twin equals 66. And then why am I showing you the 67, 68? Because look, see, Elvis equals 67 forward, 68 backwards. So remember, Elvis was an identical twin. His identical twin died at birth, and twin equals 66. So he has all the connections right there, 66, 67, and 68 on the day he's born. Okay? That date is the 66, 67, 68 day of the year. Okay? Okay, now, if you still think there's a coincidence, let's go to where he died. Where he was born. I already showed you where he died. The area codes for where he died, where he was born, man, I am so off my game here. Where he was born was Cheshire, Connecticut, CC. Okay, now, look what happens when you add the two area codes of that place. 203 and 475 is 678. You see that? Just like Elvis, right? You see what I mean? Elvis equals 67, 68. And I told you there was 67 and 68 for that date. Because if you ask Google, they'll tell you that 3/8 is the 67th day of the year, and on a leap year, 68. Okay? So again, he's got a 67, 68 connection, even in the area code 678. You see what I mean? And Elvis equals 67, 68. And of course, he was born in Cheshire, Connecticut, and he died from colorectal cancer, CC. Okay? So that's another weird coincidence, right? Now, here's some more now. Let's get ready here. So when was Vanderbeek born? He was born in the year 1977. Elvis died in 77. Okay? Elvis died at the age of 42, and Elvis's amount of years he has been dead is 48. So now he's been dead 48 years, but he died at the age of 42, okay? Remember that, 48 and 42 for Elvis. James Vanderbeek, he died at the age 48 on the date 2/11, which is the 42nd day of the year. Okay? Do you see it now? You see what I'm saying? Elvis died at age 42. It's been 48 years since his death. He died at the age 48, and he died on the 42nd day of the year. No way is that a coincidence. No way, no how. No way, no chance. Okay? No way. Okay? Now, James Vanderbeek, the exact day he's born to the exact day Elvis died, same year, because he was born the year Elvis died. Between his birth and Elvis's death is 162 days exactly when you add the day. What is 162? That's June 11th, the 162nd day of the year. Are you paying attention to what I'm showing you? Do you understand how impossible this is? All the connections that I'm showing you. Okay? And if you really, I mean, this one is not a great connection, okay? But notice it has the same numbers, 162, 216, because August 4th is the 216th day of the year. But from Elvis's birthday to Vanderbeek's birthday is 60 days when you add the day, and 2 months, 1 day is 60 days is 2 months, 1 day. And look, 8 weeks, 4 days. So you have an 8-4 also connection. But this is not that good, this one. Okay? But it's still okay, considering the 60th Super Bowl, right, was Seattle. They just won. Do you see what I mean? So there is some connection there. And the 162nd day of the year is June 11th. You know what I mean? And 216th day is August 4th, you know. So there is some connection there. And in between Vanderbeek's death and his birth date is 26 days. We're in the year 26. You know what I mean? So that's another connection. From Vanderbeek's death date to his birth date, there's 26 days in between. And between Elvis's birthday and Vanderbeek's death day is 35 days. And Elvis was born in the year 35. And look, 840 hours. There's that 8-4 with the letter O, which is a crown or a portal, which is, again, no big deal. And of course, like I said, from Elvis's birth to Vanderbeek's death is 42 years. Elvis died at 42. Washington's the 42nd state, you know, and 2/11 is the 42nd day of the year. George Washington's original birthday. You know what I mean? Now, let's see what else I got here. So today, there was that Seattle victory parade, you know, and I got one of the viewers that I think mentioned this to me. Seattle, about the vice president connection. By the way, I've been talking about J.D. Vance. I was telling everyone that Trump was going to pick someone from Ohio to be his running mate, and he did it. You know, so and J.D. Vance, I've done videos on him. Like I said, he's going to take over once Trump gets his head wound, and you'll see how it all connects when I do the video on him. But so Seattle Seahawks had a victory parade today, VP, like Vice President, and Vernon Presley, and you know, this Vanderbeek dude. Oh, before I show you that, you know that stupid J.D. Vance? He's got like 3 different names, this dude. He's James David, or James Donald Bowman, or James David Vance, his name is. You know? Look at that. He's even got the Donald, you know. I've shown all this stuff, you know. I'm not going to go into all the connections with J.D. Vance here. But it's just interesting that James David Vanderbeek, he's got the JDV in his name. You know, And look, and DB equals 4-2. DB is 4-2, the letters. And JD Vance is going to be he's going to be 42 years old when he becomes president. Because Trump is going to get his head wound 2 days after Vance, his birthday. Okay? I'm just saying that's interesting, I'm saying. And there's connections to from Vanderbeek's birth to JD Vance's birth is 7 years, 4 months, 26 days. And the percentage for that is 74110. Look at that right there. That's the number of Jesus. Saying Jesus equals 7411. So that's why there's a lot of connections here. So there's a double ritual here. And he was born in 84. You see? Like I said, I've done a whole video on JD Vance. I'm going to redo it, do another one soon. And like I said, that Trump's going to get his head wound on 8/4. Trump's born on 6/14. 6 times 14 is 84. And Obama's born on August 4th. That's why, Obama was the president before Trump. I've talked about all this stuff. You got to watch my videos, okay? And what else? I know there was something I'm missing here. Interesting that he was born in Cheshire, Connecticut. The zip code is 06410. Look at that. It looks kind of like Trump's birthday. Look. 614 is in there. And Ohio, see the O's on the sides? And 614. Get it? 6 times 14 is 84. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. It looks like the word Ohio. You see what I'm saying? Right? Do you get what I'm saying? Right? Doesn't it look like Ohio? Anyway, there's something. I mean, I know I'm missing something. What did I do? Who cares? Look, the point is that this was a definite death ritual. I mean, who knows whether he was sick or not, because they say that he was, which let's say, what we believe on this channel, okay? But, because, we believe they'll do and say anything to fool us, you know what I mean? So, but, I forgot what I was saying now. Because when you're trying to be careful what you say, you messes your whole thing up, Oh, and you know that he was on the show Dawson's Creek. Dawson's Creek, his co-star, there was not the girl, but a guy on the show, which I've talked about in the past too, because I always look at people who's born on June 11th. That dude, his co-star, Joshua Jackson, was born on June 11th. The co-star on that show, Dawson's Creek. And then they had a shooting today in Canada. And Dawson's Creek is in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada, or where the hell? Dawson's Creek, the actual place. I'm saying not the show, the actual place. Dawson's Creek is in Canada, and there was a shooting in Canada today. They had the tariffs, these tariffs voting in the Senate today about Canada and tariffs. There's a lot of weird things going on, But again, the fact that the El Paso, well, I'm not sure how you're spelling it. It's spelled DER. If I accidentally misspelled it, a couple places. It's spelled with one E only. If I did spell it with two E's, it was a mistake. It's spelled Derbeck, James Vanderbeek, Derbeek, Derbeek. But anyway, what do you guys want to ask? Well, there's 86 people in the chat. I'll stay on another few minutes because, in the near future, I'm going to delete this video too. I only want to keep up the connections that are like super good. This is a real good video, but not good enough to not good enough to promote. But it does show that it was a ritual. Okay, you can't deny it with the connection with El Paso. Today there was El Paso FAA. They shut it down. Come on, man. They shut down. Wait, what? His name was. Well, hold on. Let's find out what the shooter's name was in Canada. What was the shooter's name in the Canada shooting today? Let's see. So, so look at this. So even this guy has the van in his name. Can you believe that? So there was a shooting in Canada called, look at his name, Jesse, and that's Elvis's identical twin's name, but he spells it with both ways, with an I or an E. Elvis's identical twin, his name is Jesse. Look at that. He's got the van, like James Vanderbeek. Roots Lar. Yeah, like JD Vance, you know what I mean? How many what's the update? How many people was the total? How many people killed and injured in the Canada shooting today? It says 8. 8 killed. Oh, he's an 18-year-old. Elvis is born on 1/8. So you can't, doesn't say how many, but they're saying 8. Does anyone know more details on that? I didn't look it up. Root cellar? Is that how they're pronouncing it? What? Yeah. Oh, and the guy who's born on June 11th, he's from Canada. The co-star. Who's the co-star? Wait. Who's the male
Co-Star
co-star?
is an app founded in 2017.
Stupid Google, man. Who's the male co-star on the show Dawson's Creek?
The main male lead is James Vanderbeek, who played Dawson Leary. Another important male co-star is Joshua Jackson, who played Pacey Witter, a key character.
When was Joshua Jackson born?
Joshua Jackson was born on June 11th, 1978, in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada.
Yeah.
His full name is Joshua Carter Jackson.
See? But anyway, where am I here? Anyway, so all I'm saying is today you had the Seattle Victory Parade on the 42nd day of the year. Elvis is age 42 when he died. Washington's the 42nd state. Today's the 42nd day of the year. George Washington's original birthday was the 42nd day of the year. His original birthday. And you had an FAA ground, like halted all the planes, in El Paso. Elvis Presley. Get it? All right? And FAA is 611. Okay, you understand? FAA is 611. By the way, you're seeing everything backwards. This is my right hand, but it shows as my left. I mean, it shows as my left hand, but this is my right hand. But anyway, that's why you're seeing the number, everything backwards. FAA is 611. Okay, so you have the El Paso uh, connection, the Elvis Presley, and then you have all the other stuff. You know. Yeah, see, I don't know anything about these actors. Like, I don't know nothing about James Vanderbeek. I just showed you what I knew off the top of my head. Um, I mean, from research uh, and and just doing the math on this stuff. But some of the stuff I showed was really good. But then there's other stuff that's just whatever. But definitely, it was a death ritual for this event. You know, it's just too much. You know, it's too much coincidences. You know, and all these. There's been like 10 people died around this Super Bowl. You know, I'm not going to get into all that. Like 10 different people died, and a bunch of football players and actors and singers. I mean, it's been a big time ritual. You know. Yeah, look, about what's going to happen on June 11th, okay, in Washington State, okay? But before I talk about that, let me just talk about Trump's head wound. On August 4th, Trump gets a head wound, okay? And, um, and he's going to heal from his deadly head wound. They're going to pronounce him dead probably, but then he heals from his deadly head wound, okay? And but the head wound's on August 4th. He heals from his head, not heals, but he opens his eyes 4 days later. And then eventually he goes to heal, like for a while. But in the meantime, they have to put another president in. And there's J.D. Vance is going to step in, the guy who looks kind of like Elvis. We've been through this already, okay? And Elvis Charo, which kind of sounds like my name, you know, Garo. But see right here, he kind of has the J.D. Vance vibe, you know. See, you know, with the beard, Elvis, and um, I'm trying to find a better image, but anyway, it doesn't matter. Um, so J.D. Vance will take over, and he'll be 42 years old. Do you understand when he takes over? Because his birthday comes right before Trump's head one. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. J.D. Vance is basically like the Elvis character, you know. You know, if you so I'll be doing a video on J.D. Vance again. You know, like I said, I did a video uh, a long time ago before he even got elected. I said that Trump would pick somebody from Ohio because that's where Trump's gonna get his head wound, in Ohio. And for the people, you know, who are gonna say that Trump already got his head wound, no, he did not get his head wound already. Okay.
This time,
Listen.
it is 6:11, 12 weeks to the minute that the shooting began. I would like to ask
Listen.
everyone at this time, it is 6:11, 12 weeks to the minute.
So Trump, when he got his ear clipped, the time was 6:11. And he went back to Butler, Pennsylvania, where he got his ear clipped 84 days later. And he said 12 weeks. 12 weeks is 84 days. 12 times 7 is 84. And Pearl Harbor happened on 12/7. Do you see what I'm saying? So you have the 6:11 when the time was that it happened. Not the date, the time was 6:11. And so he went and did a moment of silence. and And he says 12 weeks too. So he says 6, 11, 12 weeks, and then he does 4 days, 4 bells. Okay, pay attention.
This time it is 6/11, 12 weeks
84 days
that the shooting began. I would like to ask everyone to join me in a moment of silence.
And here comes 4 days later. 1, 2, 3, 4. See what I mean? So they did 4 bells. Hell's bells, yeah. And yeah, there's more to this, but I'm gonna wait for to do the JD Vance video on it. But yeah. Anyway, the point is that it's it was that ear clip was a supposed ear clip. That supposed ear clip was a ritual for the 6/11. You know, do you understand? For the 6/11 event, and then but it's just referencing it, the 6/11, because they have to connect to each other. The 6/11 has to connect to the August 4th. Okay, and I've shown how that is. You just got to go watch my videos, and you'll understand how 6/11 connects to August 4th. Okay, so and how it connects to 666 and how it connects to Satan. All right, so you have and that's why Trump, the ear clip and the head wound and everything is combined because when Washington gets struck, it's also a head wound, okay? Which I've explained. See? So when Washington gets struck on June 11th, you see right here, this is Seattle. It's in King County. You know, Elvis was known as a king. Washington's the 42nd state. Elvis died at the age of 42. During the pandemic, this area of Seattle was called the CHOP zone. CHOP equals 42. CHOP zone. So if it gets struck right here, if they say that a supposed nuke got dropped right here or right anywhere in here, and this comes off right here, all of this gets chopped off, they would be chopping Elvis's head off, see? That's Elvis's head. You see his hair way up here? That is Elvis's head. This is the furthest west in Washington State. This Elvis head is the furthest west. Okay, there's no further west point. Get it, West Point. you know. Yeah, anybody else have? I'll stay on another 10 minutes. So I'm just letting you know that I have the most incredible video coming out. I worked on the day before. I worked on it for a couple hours, and then this morning I did 5 straight hours without nonstop, 5 straight hours, and I'm still only halfway through. But it's the man, it's so much info, but it's so incredible. It's more proof that it's going to happen this year, okay? On June 11th, the Washington State event. Because that's the more important event in the sense of trying to help people, because we need to help people get out of Washington State before June 11th, all right? And like I said, this Seattle, them winning the Super Bowl in Elvis Stadium, if that doesn't, I mean, look, this channel should have 1 million views right now, 1 million viewers. I mean, but people, like I said, people are lost. They don't understand Holy Spirit led information compared to all these Johnny come latelys who just started talking about the things that I'm talking about for years. I've been talking about this since 2016 when Trump got in office. That Washington State's going to be struck and Trump's going to get his head won. And all these guys now they're coming on the scene and basically trying to do what I'm doing. But it doesn't matter. The point is, they are not warning people. There's one person right now is doing that, which is cool, and he's mentioning my name again. But again, there's a reason we had a fallout. But hopefully he, you know, because I already forgave him. But the problem is he doesn't repent. He didn't say sorry. So obviously he's not repented, you know. But but it's good that he's trying to help people because I warned all the supposed watchmen on YouTube, the content creators in the truth community. If you don't warn your viewers to come to this channel and tell them to get out of Washington State before June 11th, because they're not going to listen to you if you just say it. If you're just doing one video and say, "Oh, this is going to happen," they're not going to listen to you. No one's going to take you seriously. But when somebody's done 10 years of research and dedicated his whole life to this for free, I don't monetize my videos. I don't ask for donations. I don't have anything. All right. All I want is for people to get out of Washington State before June 11th. Now, what I'm trying to say is that you will not find another person on YouTube that's dedicated their life to two predictions: June 11th, Washington State; August 4th, Trump head win. Now, like I said, uh, God revealed the dates, the players, the places. The only thing that God didn't reveal, which He did reveal it, but unfortunately, it took wisdom and time and experience to realize what the puzzle, the year. That was the only thing I didn't. But it was right in front of me. But again, I needed wisdom to understand it, and wisdom comes through time and experience. All right. So and it I had known it way back then, I wouldn't have had the Elvis part, because the Elvis part didn't come until 2019. You know. So that's why it that I didn't know it right away. Okay. That is why. What about the year? I mean, yeah, the 6/11 to the August 4th connections are, like I said, it's beyond supernatural. If you've seen my videos on how they connect, it's incredible. Anyway, and how it all connects to the Super Bowls too. All of it, you know, because Elvis died on the toilet, and the Super Bowl looks like a toilet. You know what I mean? It's a bowl. Get it? Super Bowl. Anyway, folks, any last words? I'll stay on. I just don't want to make this video. I want to leave it under an hour. Yeah. Yeah, see, I have more than just numbers that I'm showing you. Okay? You understand? It's more than just numbers. What's the word? There is a foundation that I have. See, these people are building their predictions and stuff on sand that crumbles. Mine is not going to crumble. Okay? You understand what I'm saying? They're building it on they don't their predictions. That's why they change their predictions every week. All these supposed truthers, they're just going to keep going and keep going and keep going until one of them comes true. Of course, you're going to hit once in a blue moon, and that's what they're going to do. They're going to all see, I called it. You know what I mean? When my predictions come in, they're going to say they called it, because every week they're changing their predictions. Do you see what I'm saying? These people are wicked, man. They're wicked. Okay, because I told you they say they speak to God, and that they're being led by the Holy Spirit. No, they're not. Okay, You wouldn't be stealing other people's content and pretending like you figured it out. These people are, you know, God's going to punish these people. Like I said, you know, instead of trying to warn the people, you know, and sending them over here, because I told you I don't gain nothing. I don't monetize my videos. I don't care about subscriber count. I care about the truth, and Jesus is the truth, and that's why I'm telling you that what I'm showing you here is the biblical beast out of the sea event. All right, these predictions, these two predictions. See, these other people, they don't have a source. See, I'm showing you where the source is. Elvis is the source, and everything comes out of that. All right. That's why they. That's why their predictions don't come to fruition. Yeah, look, it could affect more than just the Washington State coast. It could go down the coast. I don't know. It could go up the coast toward Canada and go down toward the Southern California. I don't know. You know, but I think it's just going to affect the Washington State area. But I mean, is it possible that it could go down the coast? You know, um, I don't know. Anything's possible. Why did Elvis become the devil? I mean, that's the body. Whatever. Listen, it was a satanic ritual. The birth. That's what I'm saying. It was they sacrificed the identical twin. You know, that's why the twin towers fell. I've already explained it. You got to watch my videos to understand. Okay, and so whatever they did at his birth, it was a satanic ritual, just like Trump's was a satanic ritual, just like Obama's was a satanic ritual, just like all of them. They all had it, but Elvis is the one that was chosen for the devil to embody his. That was the body that Satan chose. You know, for the final. For the final curtain. For the final curtain. Just like Elvis says, when he says this in his song. Yeah. What? What do you mean a beast? 1960. I'm not sure what you're saying. I must have missed your other comment. No, you got to watch from the beginning. I'm not going to redo it. No. No, I'm not going to go back over it again. But you know what I will do? But even though I don't want to do this, but I'm going to redo it anyway. Anyone who came in late, you got to go watch from the beginning. Nah, this is too long. I was going to show something, but no. Forget it. I'll show that in another video. But anyway, folks, watch from the beginning. I'm going to delete the video now. I'll see you guys. Anyone who got in late, you got to watch from the beginning to understand it. Like I said, there are some really good parts in this video, and then there's some just okay parts. So the last 15 minutes is just me talking. So, but anyway, if you're new to the channel, go to the live section of this channel. If you're new to the channel, go to the live section of this channel. That's where all my recent videos are. Okay. And just work your way back from the most recent back and only watch the Elvis Trump uh, videos that have to do with Washington State June 11th and Trump getting his head wound on August 4th in Ohio. So just watch those videos before you watch anything else, because you have to watch at least 10, 20 videos to grasp the magnitude of what I'm showing. All right, folks. Anybody left? One more question. I can, because I'm trying to keep it under an hour. No, I don't know much about this Vanderbeek. That's what this video is about, but I don't know much about him. I don't know the history of this dude, but I just saw some surface stuff that I talked about. But yeah, if you guys find more, I'm sure you guys will find more over the coming days. But yeah, anyway, God bless all of you. Jesus is God. End of video. All right, go to the live section. That's where all my recent videos are. End of video. And if you came in late, watch from the beginning. And make sure you comment and thumb up the video. Look at this. I mean, you guys are incredible, man. Thumb up the video, man. And comment under the video. All right, end of video. Jesus is God. You guys are so, man. It's like, come on. You're not doing it for me. You're doing it for the algorithms. Because it helps the video get shared or something. I don't know. Anyway, make sure you go thumb up the video. End the video.